Oh, and that light doesn't look very good. Yeah, I'll try this one instead. This might be better. And yeah, that's better. And another chat tomorrow. I'll put up a vehicle instead. I think I'll see what it comes to. This is more of a rant than anything else, because it's the difference between wild camping and sort of camping, parking and camping, if you like. Wild camping is really parking with a sleeping element to it. At least that's the way I see it. And other people may have other ideas. Last month I was in Bad Kissingen in Germany, and there's a very nice something it's called. Oh, I can't remember the word in English now. Salina. It's like a hedge. Comes from the 19th century. People have their very tall hedge, and water would come through it, and people sort of walk through this hedge, which in that case is about 8 meters high, something like that, and they would breathe in the salt that comes out of it. Anyway, so this is a sort of here in Poland, in Germany, Czechia, other Central Europe. It's a way of looking after your body. Anyway, so in Bad Kissingen, there's this car parking space with very clean, very nice toilets there, and there were people there camping, which is fair enough. I mean, with their vans, I should have said, so that people were using it to stay overnight and all the rest of it. But I got there, and there was these two characters from Belgium, and they'd taken, not only they parked in one place, but they'd actually put out a table and chairs in another parking space, and they were eating. Now, if it had been the camping space was absolutely empty, then it wouldn't have, it wouldn't have bothered me maybe so much. But it wasn't empty. There were still one or two places. Anyway, I said something. I said it wasn't right. They didn't move anyway. I'm not made it. Don't suppose I couldn't actually force them to do it anyway. I was there with somebody, and I didn't want to upset her. But that's the sort of thing that sort of really winds me up, and it's the sort of thing I think I rather feel is going to end up getting us all banned. On one Facebook group I'm in, I noticed somebody was complaining, taking a photograph of a expedition truck, which he said had dumped its grey water all over the car park, and that was seen. But it was all the other people who were commenting, and they were saying, "Well, how do you know it dumped it? And there's other more important things in the world and all the rest of it." Yeah, sure, there's a more important other things in the world, but the thing at the end of the day is this: is that if we as wild campers, such as myself, do not show respect for the places where we are, then we will be banned from actually using them. So what I'm now in an extremely attractive place. I must be about 10 other vehicles here from various countries, and I feel that here I haven't seen any abuse here whatsoever. But the question is, how do we ensure that we can continue to come to this place? And therefore, I think what we need to do is define what camping is and what wild camping is, right? So if I sort of camping, you go to a campsite, you can put your awning out, you can put your deck chairs out, you can do whatever you like. Now, when you're wild camping, in my opinion, there's certain things. First of all, you show absolute respect for where you are. You do not leave anything other than your tire tracks and your footprints, and even there, even them, best if you don't. And you take everything with you, but it's also how you react with people around you. Now, if you start getting out on tables and chairs and doing things like this, particularly if you're taking up other space, then clearly you are camping and not wild camping, or shall I say parking, and that creates the problem. So I do strongly urge people not to actually do that. So what can you actually do and what can't you do? Right, so for example, now I'm sitting here, I've got my my EcoFlow generator, which is sitting here, and I'm powering it by the sun. But now normally when I'm on a paid campsite, I will leave the solar panel thing in front of the vehicle, so which is easier. In this case, I've stuck it on the roof. The reason I've stuck it on the roof is because I don't want to bring attention to myself that I am camping and not parking. As it's on the roof, it's hardly visible, and if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't be able to find it. So that's the first sort of thing. So not to do things of this nature. Not even, if possible, even to leave bikes outside, if that can be avoided. Now, next question is, can you open the windows? And I had a good think about this. I don't mean the roof windows, because there's no question about, you can certainly allowed on. You can open your roof windows. That doesn't bother anybody. The side windows, I think here's a good argument to say you shouldn't even open your side windows. The side windows on most motorhomes are not particularly visible when somebody comes in, parks close to you, could easily hit it. Indeed, anybody walks past your vehicle, they could easily hit, because they really are not particularly visible. So in my opinion, you shouldn't be, unless you've got windows open up that way. But windows open out, I personally don't think you should be using them either. Having said that, if other people have other opinions on this subject, then do write them down below. Now, another argument in favor of providing motorhome stellplatzes and airs is that we go to places and then we spend our money there. Indeed, we go to a stellplatz or an air or a parking space, Forster, and we're supposed to see the museums, pay for food and restaurants and supermarkets and what have you, and leave some cash behind. Because I'd say not leave anything out of my footprint. You're supposed to leave cash behind as well. And so that is the objective, and to actually to use for local facilities, which I think almost everybody does. I went to a stellplatz here in Poland 3 weeks ago, brand new. It was done this year. Superb, really clean. The service post look absolutely shiny, brand new. It's the newest one I've ever seen, and fantastic, I thought. Unfortunately, the service place there at night, people came along from the local revelers, and they had a barbecue until 3:30 in the morning. And with loud music, screeching tires and all the rest of it. So that completely failed in its effort for the local council wanting to encourage people to actually go there. But if people actually do that, the only thing that will happen is that the towns will get bad reputations, so we won't go to places like that and leave our money there. Anyway, right, so I've given you one or two opinions there, and that was actually, this came about, though, as a rant because of that, those two Belgians in Bad Kissingen last month. Anyway, so I'll have a look at some of the comments. Hello, Annie. Wild camping, says Mark. Does that involve grass skirts and blow darts? Well, it can do. Guy asked me if I'm going to be reporting every day. No, probably not. But I will be. I've been putting something up every day now for about 4 years, something along those lines. But I'm not. I don't think I'll be doing the two, both of the live, and I'll either do a live at this time, or I'll do a normal video, either a video on a vehicle or a video on a place I've been to in my van. But I don't think I'll be reporting live myself every day. Having said that, I may still do lives which have to be filmed during the day. And what I liked about actually doing the live from here was that I could sit down, and behind me I had people walking around, which I'm now going to demonstrate. So if I come around to this side of my vehicle and I sit down here like this, and out the back, what you've got is, you can see people doing things outside. But the problem is, it's now getting dark. It's 21. It's nearly 21:30 here, and you can't really see what is going on outside, unfortunately. So, but I did like the idea of sitting here in a newsroom sort of thing. with this background. Maybe I ought to change the time that I do these talks so people can actually see what's happening. Having said that, most of the wild camping I do isn't in such city locations as we've got here. This is really, I'm really very close to centre city. Wonderful view of the river in front of me. In fact, I don't need. It's great when I get up, so I don't even draw the curtains most nights. Only draw the curtains when I go in the shower. But once I'm out the shower, then I open the curtains again. So the first thing I see in the morning, I've got this wonderful view of the marina and the river. I think that sort of thing is absolutely great. Anyway, good. Right. So right. So is Mark says he was confused. Somebody living at Morecambe with a caravan. Yeah, Blackpool that is. And right. Yeah, so people should really check things out before they go to places. And the one thing I'm trying to do with the places I actually go to, I do put them down on Park for Night. You can find them there, and in most cases, but not all, I'll put up a video on this site as well, just to show people some of the places I've actually been to, and so that they can actually try doing it themselves. The one of the, I mean, this is above all in the United Kingdom, where you can see these height barriers put in, and the height barriers are getting more and more common, and this is due to abuse, and so that's why it's really important that we don't abuse the where we are. Now Jan asks, what in my opinion is, which country is the easiest for wild camping? Okay, all right, well I haven't really done it in so many countries as to make such a direct comment. I would say, in my opinion, from my basis of what I've done, I really haven't had all that many problems. There is a difference between an overnight stay. So if I have to drive somewhere quickly, okay, I might just stop on the motorway, or if I've got a bit more time, I might just come off and have a look what's somewhere close by. Of course, the trouble with sleeping on the motorway is often there's quite a lot of noise, particularly if you get these refrigerated trucks sticking next to you. Other than that, I can say this: I have travelled extensively in well, Poland, Germany, Czechia, Italy. The most difficult country to wild camp in is Switzerland, because they have the rules which are there effectively make it somewhat difficult. Not only that, I've heard I met a bus driver in Austria as well, and he told me that he was stopped. So he stopped about 3 or 4 in the morning or so. It was quite late, and he was woken up a couple of hours later by the police. He got a fine, and he was expected to pay the core tax. The core tax is the tax which is related to the tourist infrastructure, so you might pay a couple of euros, but then sometimes you don't get anything for your money, or sometimes you get the right to use the buses free of charge, for example. And so that's so in Switzerland you've got to be, I mean, in Switzerland it's very difficult to find somewhere where you can actually park. I normally just park on the motorway and leave it at that, or at petrol stations. Or the petrol stations as well know this, it'll charge you for actually leaving. Switzerland's really bad. Next part is the Western Austria. That is really difficult as well, in Tyrol. But having said that, in Eastern Austria there's no problem. Just stick your van anywhere you want, and it doesn't seem to, well, in my experience, I haven't actually been moved on. I know the Austrians though are quite noted for controlling the weight of vehicles, but of course that's a different subject. In Poland, no problem. Germany, no problem. Italy, before I went to Italy, I was on my way there in 2012, and a friend said to me that 2011 it was, sorry, I was on my way there, and a friend, 2012 friend, I was in the management of the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Warsaw, and the boss there was a friend of mine, and he said, oh, you don't want to go to Italy, and this, they're going to come down really hard on you. but nowhere. I just parked anywhere I wanted, and no, it was of no problem at all. Um, in the UK as well, to quite honest, I haven't found it particularly difficult, but I am aware of the problems. I remember one night I was trying to find anywhere to stop. I was really tired, and the trouble in the United Kingdom is that if you want to stop on the motorways, you've got to pay. If you go over 3 hours. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. I remember, even as a child, advertisements telling you if you're feeling tired to stop and have a rest. And so they've been on the go since the 1970s. But if you do stop and have a rest, you can get done for a really large amount of cash if you go over the time limit. And this is the UK is the only country where that happens. I mean, the Switzerland you can stop on the motorway, and so I came off. I remember I was driving towards Birmingham, and I came off somewhere near Coventry, I think it was. And no, sorry, it was where was it? Can't remember. Anyway, it'll come back to me. And I went into an industrial area. I went to an industrial estate and just left the van and slept there. And I mean, nobody bothered me. But the UK, I think, is really difficult. I mean, there are these things called these pub stops in the UK. But I mean, the thing is this: you're expected to go and buy a meal. Well, if you by the time you've bought a meal, you may as well just go to a campsite. So, but the thing is, the campsite mightn't be where you want it to be. So, anyway, so the I was lots of countries in first place. Oh, by the way, there's a couple of countries I ought to mention. I haven't been there myself. Portugal has passed laws which certainly are being applied in the Algarve. It might even be a local law, but do not wild camp in the Algarve because there are fines being given. And theoretically, in Spain as well, larger parts of the country are not supposed to. But I know the Spanish are a lot less lax on applying the law. Bear in mind, though, if you a camper if this is an infraction and the police earn points from infractions, it's easier for the police to hit a motorhomer rather who's parked somewhere than having to look for criminals, which actually takes up time. And their statistics at the end of the month, if they've hit 2 motorhomers, it looks better than hitting 1 criminal. So there you go on that one. Anyway, I also saw people being moved on in the United States. I haven't actually camped at all in my motorhome in the United States, but I've seen the people actually being moved on by the police. So I hope that's answered that question. Anyway, Mark writes, sparsely populated areas are obviously going to be easiest. Yeah, that makes sense. TCS, have I camped in Slovakia? Yes, I have. I've camped in a few places in Slovakia, no problem. I've mainly it's been when I'm going from one place to the other. Actually, I have a video of a place I camped in Slovakia, in a village, and this was in May of 2012, and so but we was in I was in a VW then, camper. And yeah, no problem. I mean, Slovakia. I like being in Slovakia actually. I'm trying to think of other places I've actually camped in Slovakia. I haven't got any films of anything else. I've got a video of me on the border with Hungary, Slovakian Hungarian border where I stopped. But that's it. Don't have trouble finding room for housing estates in UK, says Mark. Okay, am I retired now? No, I've still got to work. I don't have a pension coming in or anything. I've still got a few years to go before I get a pension. So no, I'm still working. So I do it from the van, but I still have to work. Maybe it'll be time actually to do another video on money and how to, or maybe I'll do that tomorrow, how to actually cover your costs, live a lot out to work whilst you're in the motorhome. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. But anyway, so for the night, thanks very much for being with me. And all the best from me in Poland. And wonderful place, my favorite place. This is my favorite place. The area around here is my favorite place. I don't really want to be anywhere else in the summer. So there's like a radius of about what 80 kilometers from around here where I am right now. That is my favorite place in the world. Okay, thanks very much for being here. All the best from me.